Hey everybody, welcome back to the Flannel channel. Today we're answering your questions that you submitted in the comments section and on Instagram. So stick around, we're going to get to your question coming up. Here we go. So let's jump into it. Here we go. Jacob, my oldest son, he's hanging out with us today. He's the one in charge of all the questions. All right, so he's got them written down. I have not seen most of these. I've seen a couple of them because you guys submitted them on Instagram, but for the most part, the ones on YouTube, I don't see YouTube comments.
Right.
So these are going to be just on the fly, and I'm going to try and make sure. How many questions do we have anyway?
I think I counted, and it's like 60 something. There's a lot.
Okay, so to keep me on track, I have a timer, and I'm going to flip this thing over, and that'll force me to try and keep the ball moving and not get too bogged down in rabbit trail because I'm really bad about doing that. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Let's get going, and hit me with the first one. I'm going to flip the timer. Go.
All right.
All right.
How about driving videos? Shifting, engine sounds, jakes?
I will do some of that, but I will not shift gears on camera.
Fair enough.
Because I don't want people to see me grind once in a while, stuff like that. But yeah, I'll do Jake brake videos. What'd you say? Driving.
You've done a couple of them.
Yeah, yeah. Clips. I've done little clips like that. So yes, I will do Jake brakes and stuff like that. But no, I don't want to shift gears in front of everybody.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. All right, next one.
Okay.
Do you like the Ford Power Stroke diesels?
Yes, the 7.3, I do. Yeah,
7.3.
Turbo, yep.
So the international ones.
Yes, I like the international Ford. Not a fan of the 6.0. I mean, they can be bulletproofed, sure, yes. But 7.3s, I think those are awesome. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Next.
All right.
We're moving.
What is your dream truck or general vehicle?
Ooh.
You got options.
Oh, man. That's a tough one because I have so many.
Right.
My dream truck would probably be a Kenworth W900A. So A model, round headlights. I love those. Long hood, of course, flat glass, flat top sleeper, tall stacks, reasonable wheelbase, something like that. I also love Cabovers, but I am a Kenworth fan through and through. So yeah, probably stick with Kenworth Cabover as well. Yep. In general vehicle, probably a 70 Chevelle. I really like those, and also for a pickup truck, probably a Chevy C10.
There you go.
Yep. Okay, next.
All right. How long have you been pinstriping?
Oh, I've been pinstriping, like in a dedicated way, trying to improve my skills for about 6 years. I've owned my brushes and my paints much longer than that, probably more like 15 years. But I would try it. I would get frustrated with pinstriping because it just wasn't turning out like I wanted to. I'd put it away for a while and wouldn't pinstripe in earnest. But now, more intensely, it's probably been 6 years. So
yeah.
Yep. Okay.
All right. What are your plans with the Cabover Pete when you're done?
Oh, when I'm done, I want to drive that thing every day. I want to get that Cabover in such a condition that it's got like electric wipers, 13-speed transmission. I want it to be used in such a way that, like air conditioning, I want it to have cruise control to be able to use daily. So that's my plan with that. Yeah. Currently, that project is actually on hold simply because we have other projects, including the engine that I built specifically for that truck. We may be using that engine in a different truck. And so anyway, we will be getting back to the Cabover project soon, but it's kind of on the back burner as we focus on other things. So yeah, there you go.
We also have like 30 projects going on.
Right? I know. Yep.
All right. Is there a definitive moment that stands out that you knew you fell in love with big rigs?
Ooh, good question. Yeah, a definitive moment. I would say it probably goes back to the first time I drove a semi. That would be helping on the farm. Yeah. That was over 10 years ago now. That was probably 12 years ago. Yeah, and driving truck for the first time, it was very addicting. And yeah, that's when I fell in love with it. Was that cold fall night driving that old Ford Aeromax. So yep, pulling corn out of the field.
Yep, good way to start.
Yep.
All right. Who is your biggest supporter when going into the trucking industry?
Who's my biggest supporter? My wife. Yeah,
Yep.
we've been married 26 years.
Yeah.
24 years? 24 years. Edit that. 24 years. I love you, sweetheart.
Can't get that wrong.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
So, yeah, she is definitely my biggest supporter. I've also had some very influential people that have helped me along my way, including Danny Park. He's the farmer that I helped for 7 years on harvest. He's the one that helped me get my CDL and learn how to drive trucks, learn how to shift, and things like that on the farm. That was very influential. Next, I would thank Mr Bulow, who I currently drive for right now. He has been super influential, super helpful and supportive for me, not only with my artwork, but in trucking and things like that. So I have a number of people, but those are the three that stick out.
Yep. All right. Best Cabover.
Best Cabover.
Yep.
Mine. That's a terrible answer. No. I really like, I have a video on the channel of Barry, and he has, I think it's a 1967 Kenworth that's super customized, and he's done a lot of really cool things to that one. So Barry might have my favorite. I also was just telling one of the other boys we were talking about today, there's a Freightliner with a Detroit V8 in it, and that thing sounds really awesome. So there's a couple of them. We're working on getting more videos up too, but I would probably have to stick with the PACCAR family, so either Kenworth or Peterbilt. But I don't hate Freightliners, just really not a Freightliner guy necessarily, but they're okay. I love Internationals as well, so there's a lot of good choices out there. It's hard for me to pick just one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Would you ever buy an old 359 Peterbilt?
Sure. Yeah, I think they're awesome. Yeah, 359s rock. Yeah, you bet I would. Yep. It's not my most favorite truck in the world, but I love them. I think they're awesome. So, yeah.
Presented with the opportunity to.
You bet. Yep.
All right. What do you like about L model Kenworths, and what do you think about Mack Superliners?
Okay. L model Kenworths, I drive one every day. I love them. I think they're amazing, and they're some of my favorite trucks on the road, along with the A model long hood. So, yeah, to me, those are like older and younger sister is the A model and the L. What do I think about Mack Superliners? I think they look cool. I've never driven one, so I can't say definitively that they are fantastic trucks, or I've never really done wrenching on one, so I cannot answer the Mack Superliner thing. I don't have any way to be able to answer that.
No.
Okay.
All right. Do your sons like trucking?
Yes. Some more than others. And that's, I think, totally normal. Right. Son number 3 has told me that he wants to be a trucker. And 2 of you guys have worked in our truck shop. So
I did for a number of years.
Yeah, you washed trucks, you learned how to grease them. I mean, you've driven some already. You don't have your CDL, but you might get it.
Yep, I'm working on it hopefully soon.
And you're becoming a mechanic.
Yep.
So yeah, I do have sons that really like trucking, and they like trucker culture. They like things about it. They like getting dirty and wrenching and things like that too. So yeah, that would be my short answer. Yes, I do.
Yeah. All right, next one. What truck shows are you planning on attending / pinstriping at this coming year?
Ooh, okay. I wish I would have been more prepared for this answer. As of right now, coming up, we're in January 2022 right now is when we're filming. So the next upcoming show is going to be the Wildwood 75 Chrome Shop show. That's coming up in April. So I'm planning on flying to that show because my parents live in Florida, so I can go down there and stay with them and drive to Wildwood. And so that's my short answer. That's the only one that I actually have on the schedule. I have plans for that one, but I know there's going to be lots of other awesome shows coming up. And so the best way for me to let you know what shows I'll be at is going to be through probably Instagram. And I'm also on Getter. I'm also going to be on Rumble, on YouTube. I'll try and make announcements for when I know that I'm going to be at other shows, because I know I want to hit more shows this year than I did last year. My local show, I need to finish this question. My local show is the Big Iron Classic in Castle, Minnesota. That's usually in the fall, like end of summer. I'm always at that show. And there's going to be other ones too. I want to get to Busted Knuckle. I want to get to Matt's if I can. I want to get to 4 states. I mean, there's a whole bunch that I want to get to as much as I possibly can. So stay tuned. I will let you know.
Oh yeah. All right. Favorite commodity to haul? Coal?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I love hauling coal. Especially around here, not that many guys get to haul coal. It's a little bit more rare. You guys that live out east, Pennsylvania, stuff like that, you guys probably haul a lot more of it out your way. But up here in the Midwest, we haul it out of North Dakota back to Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa area. So yeah, I think hauling coal is awesome. But you know, I enjoy lots of other things. We have a lot of variety in what we haul, and so a lot of aggregate work, especially in summertime, and anything that won't freeze into the trailer, really.
Yeah, definitely.
So, okay, next.
All right. Have you ever pulled other things like dry van or tanker?
Oh, yes. Yep. I have my hazmat and my tanker. I've hauled like dry van, flatbed, tanker.
You can do doubles.
I could do doubles. Yep, I have that also on my license. And so, yeah, I probably would say flatbed is my next favorite. After end dump, I would say flatbed. Yep. And I enjoy tanker too. So yeah, those three are kind of my wheelhouse with experience that I have.
Yep. Cool. All right. Next one. What's the first truck you ever drove? You kind of already said that.
Oh, yep. That was on the farm. That was the Ford Aeromax 9000. Yep, that had a small Cummins in it and I think it was a 10-speed in that thing. But we had 3 trucks on the farm. So there was a short hood Ford, there was a long hood Ford Aeromax, a little bit longer wheelbase, and that had sleeper on it. And the third one that we used on the farm was an International. It was like a 1997, something like that. And yeah, that one also had an International. I mean, a Cummins in it, small Cummins. So. Yep, those were the 3. We hauled hopper bottoms coming out of the fields, and that's kind of where I cut my teeth. That's the transmissions I learned to shift on. So, yep.
All right.
Next.
Let's see. Oh, can we get more Jake Break videos?
Sure. Can do that. Gladly.
Do you like waking up people at 4 a.m.?
Yeah. My stacks actually do have mufflers in them. They're not completely straight pipes. So they're plenty loud, but yeah, Jake stuff is fun. And it's fun to try and come up with different camera angles, or, you know, we were talking the other day about trying to get some shots, like going underneath bridges and tunnels and stuff like that. So, yes, we will do more of that, if that's what you want. Okay, next.
All right, favorite truck color combos?
Oh, cool. I really like kind of a seafoam green and off-white, kind of a cream color. Those two together. There's a truck owned by Bob V, and I think it's called, there's a name for the truck, Low Key, I think, and he's from Florida, I believe, and that was at the Wildwood show last spring, and yeah, it's kind of an aqua blue-green and off-white cream, and lots of pinstriping on it. Yeah, it's a gorgeous truck. It's got like a Mercury sleeper on it.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite. I also really like the dark black, like flat black and red together, kind of that hot rod thing. Obviously, that's kind of what I went with my truck. I actually really like primer, and I really like rust. I think rust looks cool.
Yep.
But so anyway, yeah. Next.
Cool. Which do you prefer, driving, mechanic, artist, or combo?
Oh, which do I prefer? That's hard to say because I've done it both ways. My art just kind of is like the third piece but it's just always there.
Yeah.
And I made the switch from being a full-time mechanic, part-time trucker, and then I went to full-time trucker, part-time mechanic. And so it's hard to say which one I like more. I'll say this. On Saturdays when we do the maintenance in the shop and we're taking care of the trucks, doing tires and brakes and oil changes and all the things that go, wrong that we're fixing and stuff like that. If I didn't have Saturday work and the wrenching that we do, I would lose my mind if I was only trucking.
Yep.
And when I was only being a mechanic before I was driving truck, I wanted something more. So, quick backstory. I'll try and go fast. Part of what got me into trucking is I enjoyed trucking just as much as I enjoyed racing. Some people don't know this, but I drove race car for 7 years, just doing like enduros and stuff like that. I had just as much fun behind the wheel of a semi, and I was getting paid to drive truck. Whereas with a race car, I had to pay money to go race. And, I did win some prize money and stuff like that, but it's just enough to pay for like fuel and tires and stuff like that. So that's what got me into trucking was I loved it as much as I was loving racing. So,
right.
Okay, all right, keep moving.
All right. What sleeper is on your W9? Mercury?
Oh, no, it is not a Mercury. It's actually a Benz sleeper, B-E-N-T-Z, and we found it in a junkyard. I reskinned it in stainless steel, and I like the look of Mercury sleepers. I like the look of Double Eagles, so I made my Benz kind of look like a Mercury because I really think they're cool looking. So you can check out that video if you want to go look at it. We do the entire build start to finish on the sleeper and things like that. So Benz is what my sleeper is. Yep. And it's crawl through too.
Yeah. All right. Why did you choose to drive with Mr. Bulow?
Oh, okay. Brian Bulow is a friend that I met through other mutual friends at a Bible study. And so the fact that he was close to my age, he already had an established trucking business, and he was looking for help, and I wanted to start driving full time, and the fact that Brian needed help with maintenance because he was doing it all himself with 4 other guys and trucks on the road. It was just a lot for him to do on his own. So it seemed like a really, really good fit with my skill set and his needs, and both of us being Christians. It was just like God orchestrated the entire thing. So,
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Go.
Detroit, Cat, or Cummins? What's your favorite?
Oh, my favorite is Cummins. I'm a Cummins guy. I am. I like Detroits. I think they're awesome. And I don't dislike Cats, except that I think Cat parts cost more, and I also don't have as much experience with Cats. I've driven a Peterbilt that had a Cat engine in it, and I've also done like some cylinder head work on a Cat, but my experience with Caterpillar is somewhat limited, so I can't give a whole lot of definitive, like, this is why I like or dislike Cats, one more than the other, or anything like that. I have the most experience with Cummins. Second place would be Detroit. Third place, Cat. In that order. So
simple as that.
Yeah. That's just me.
So. All right. Have you ever upset or almost rolled over while dumping?
Oh, no, I've never tipped a trailer over. I praise the Lord for that. I'm thankful, and obviously nobody plans on it, but I also don't like anybody coming up to me and be like, oh, there's only 2 kinds of end dump drivers, the guys that have tipped one over and the guys that are going to tip one over. It's like, well, that's not very nice to say. Not a very nice way to put it. Yeah, so, no, I hate it when people send me videos of some other guy having a really bad day and tipping a trailer over. I don't like seeing that kind of stuff. Here's an example. Like, you wouldn't expect Jeff Gordon or Dale Earnhardt Jr. to sit around and watch race car crash videos, right? Like, why would I want to watch end dumps tipping over? Like, to me, that's like,
right.
No. So does it happen? Yes. And we do everything that we can to try and prevent that from happening. The trailer that I pull has been tipped over by another driver before, and everything turned out okay. We had the trailer repaired. So we pull frameless end dumps, which is different than frame dump trailers, and they can all be precarious. We have to make sure we're on level ground, make sure that our load is leveled. There's a lot that goes into it to be an end dump driver, but no, I've never tipped one over.
Yeah.
So, yep.
All right.
Okay.
Was it easy to rebuild the sleeper? It looks awesome.
Thank you. I wouldn't say it was easy. It was very time consuming. It was a big project, start to finish. But I loved the project. I thought it was a lot of fun. You helped a lot with that project.
Yeah, that was a fun project.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I would love to do it again. Mm-hmm. I hope we get the chance to get our hands on another Benz and do it all over again. So, yeah, thank you. I wouldn't say it was easy. There's a couple changes that I would make, but for the most part, it turned out the way that I had envisioned it. So, yeah, start to finish, it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, what else you got?
Why do you use air valves with the cab instead of electric to air on the trailer? Cuts down airlines?
Okay. Let me try and understand what he's saying there. So, why do we use air? Well,
I don't know.
Okay, that's how the trailer is set up. And so, could you put like air solenoids, like electric solenoids on it? You could. Yeah, I don't know. We're running the trailer the way that it comes with all the, like, to open the tailgate, to dump the air suspension, to send the trailer up and down. Everything's controlled by air in the truck, and it runs directly to the trailer that way. So,
right.
Could a guy do that and switch it all to electric solenoids? Sure. Yeah, you could. But
the truck already has a compressor system on it.
So right.
There's really...
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're just doing it the way that it was designed originally. Yeah. There's a lot of airlines that go from the trailer up into the truck. Would I love to cut down on that and make it look cleaner on the deck plate? Yeah, that'd be awesome. But it's part of the job to have a lot of airlines. So, yep. Okay, next.
Do you ever haul grain or corn in the end dump?
Occasionally. It's not something that we do a whole lot. Some guys with end dumps do it a lot more than we do. If we do any, it would probably be DDGs, which would be distillers grains, and that would be from local ethanol plants.
Yep.
So we've done that a couple times, but it's not something that we do routinely. If anything ag-related, it was probably more like fertilizer or potash, things like that. We'll haul that to farmers in their fields, stuff like that, but not usually corn and soybeans, which is the commodities that are most common in the farms around us in the upper Midwest. So, yep.
Yeah. Cool. Mm-hmm. What is the latest on the Cabover project? You also already touched on that.
Yeah, it's on hold currently, just simply because we got to the point of getting the cab, the interior of the cab, like stripped down, got all the smell out of it, got all the soft pieces out. Pressure wash, we repaired the floor, and we started building an Cummins N14 for it. And currently it's on hold because we might use that engine for some other project. So,
yep,
it's out in the weeds right now. Hopefully get it back in the shop soon, but that's not entirely up to me.
Right.
So, yep.
All right.
Okay, go.
How about a little bio? How to get started trucking, wrenching, experience?
Sure. Okay. I have been a mechanic since like right after high school. I went to Votech for auto mechanics. I was a tech for 15 years at either independent shops or at car dealerships, and I loved being a mechanic. That's where I was racing for 7 years. I was doing like county fair, kind of enduro racing in the summertime. I also built a couple of Hornet cars for doing like front wheel drive, 4-cylinder stuff, and that's just a lot of fun. But it got tougher and tougher to find sponsors, and I wanted to try and finish on the top of my game instead of waiting until I probably should have stopped racing. And so after I quit racing, I started helping on the farm. I married into a family that has quite a few acres. They grow corn and soybeans, and so I started helping on the farm, and I was driving the tractors, driving combine, and driving semis from the field to the bins, things like that, and just helping being around all the augers and all the stuff around the farm, and I fell in love with it. And that's where I fell in love with trucking, really. And so got my experience there, got my CDL, and got my hazmat, got my tanker, things like that. And So from there, I was still a full-time mechanic at a local shop. Still really good friends with them. That's actually where you work now.
Yep.
So, and he's going to Votech
Yep.
for auto mechanics.
Right.
And so I was wrenching full-time and I was driving part-time. So one night a week, I would have the flatbed was already loaded and I would pull for AmeriGas propane. About 90 miles, I would do my thing, run on the forklift, turn on, come back home with all the empties and unload it. And I would do that Fridays and I would do that Saturdays. So I was wrenching full-time, driving part-time. It got to the point where I was enjoying it so much and I really wanted to make a change. All through this whole time, I was doing art. I was doing mainly sketching and things like that. A little bit of painting, but not hardcore pinstriping just yet. But right about the time that I started driving truck full-time and wrenching part-time, that's when I really started kind of doing more and more of my pinstriping, because I was seeing, as I was being at not only hot rod shows and car shows and stuff like that, but I was around pinstriping more at like truck stops and seeing it as I was trucking more and more. I was just taking photos of other pinstriping. I thought it was really cool. So that's part of where I fell in love with pinstriping culture, started pinstriping more. So I met Brian Bulow after I had been driving for AmeriGas for 2 years part-time. And so I made the switch to drive full-time. And all we do at Brian Bulow Trucking is end dumps. And then he also owns a side business where it's storage trailers. So he kind of has his hand in a few different things. He also sells coal on the side. So he's got a few different businesses that I help out with all that stuff too. So that's a little bit of the background bio of where I come from with the wrenching, the racing, the artwork, and trucking. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's all. That long answer. Sorry about that. Here we go. Keep moving.
All right. What's the significance of the arrows tattooed on your arm?
Oh, yeah. Each one of the arrows on my arm represent one of my children. So I have 5 arrows. I have 5 children. I have 4 sons and 1 daughter. This verse right here, Psalm 127, 3 through 5, it says, like arrows in the hands of a warrior are sons born in a man's youth. Blessed is he whose quiver is full of them. And that's a significant scripture verse for me, and that's what my tattoo represents, is each one of my 5 kids, and it's me pointing my children toward Christ and trying to point my kids in the right direction. Yeah, as I launch you, I have you for a short time, and then I send you guys out into the world. So that's kind of the picture behind that. That's why your handle for Instagram is
Eldest Arrow.
Eldest Arrow, because you're the oldest arrow. Yep. So there you go. That's what the tattoo is all about.
Yep.
And I'm going to get more.
Yeah. All right. As a young man wanting to get into...
I'm not going to get more arrows. I'm going to get more tattoos. We're done having arrows.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that.
Clarification.
Okay. Okay, back to it. Sorry to interrupt you. Okay.
No. All right. As a young man wanting to get into trucking in the industry, what should I know?
Oh, okay. You should know, as a young man getting into trucking, that there's a difference between truck drivers and truckers. You should know that a trucker is somebody who is ready and willing to take care of problems and be a problem solver, and doesn't just sit behind that steering wheel and follow his GPS blindly and has other people fix things on his truck. A trucker is willing to throw on the boots and the gloves and dress appropriately for the job, and make sure that everything is clean and swept out and chained down properly, or whatever your job entails for driving that truck and delivering your loads and things like that. You're a professional. That's the biggest difference between being a trucker and a truck driver. So as a young man, I think you need to be trained properly by experienced truckers that have already been through it, and you need to learn how they did what they did and some of the history of it. And you need to be professional in the way that you handle yourself. You need to be polite. You need to be safe. All those things. But I'm not saying that a company driver can't be a trucker. It certainly is something that you can do if you have that mindset. And I think being a trucker means that you are appreciating the history that comes with trucker culture and where we've come from and things like that. So
You actually take care of your truck and care about it.
Right, yeah. Having pride in your ride. And I'm a company driver. I don't own my truck. Maybe a lot of people don't know that, but I work for the guy, and I try and take care of that truck the same way that I would take care of it if it was my name on the door and it was my company. Yeah. So to me, that's part of what a trucker is it doesn't matter who owns it. I'm going to try and take care of it. And people see the truck, and they see me, they see the company name. I want to represent all those things well. You know, I think that's just part of being a professional.
Yeah.
And so when you're at the diesel pumps, you're going to make sure that you pull ahead and you don't block the pumps for the guys that behind you that they want to get up and get fuel also. Things like that. Just thinking of other people around you, not just thinking of yourself. You're going to get outside the cab and be willing to get dirty and do what the job takes. So
using common sense and common courtesy.
There you go. I love it. Okay, another long answer. I apologize. Man, bad about this. Got to get better.
All right. Do you have any more big plans for the Rat Rod Kenworth?
Oh, big plans. Not really big plans. Again, because it's Brian's truck, it's not mine. The big plans are really ultimately up to him. Right. And so I can tell you some things that I would like to do to it. If I'm able to. I would love to go back to OE style exhaust with heat shields and mufflers, and I would like to get taller stacks on it, like 13 and a half feet. And I would like to get a new bumper put on. But my bumper brackets are actually broken. They're the shackles that on a Kenworth, the bumper bracket is the front of the spring shackle. I think they're cast aluminum if I remember right. And mine are cracked really bad. So my bumper just vibrates and shakes, and it's been welded a whole bunch of times. And recently I just killed my, I think, 6th or 7th deer with that bumper. Yeah. And they're basically like both sides have been pushed in so many times. They're practically hinges on the front of that thing, and so just pull it straight again. And that's where the black diamonds on the front of the bumper come from. That they're just there to try and hide how many times that bumper's been twisted and bent and tweaked. And so that's what the black diamonds are really all about. Just trying to, do an ode to the old school, and also covering up how banged up that bumper is. So I want to get a different bumper. I have some ideas of the type of bumper I want to do. It seems like everybody's going big, tall, squared off, either stainless or chrome or things like that. I have an idea of something I'd like to do. A little bit more old school, and it's homemade. So I won't divulge that just yet, but I have an idea. What else would I do? That's pretty close to it. I mean, I always have a few ideas, but that's the big stuff. Exhaust and bumper. Yeah, ultimately. Yep.
Is there much logging in our area?
Not really. I mean, there's tree service places, but we're kind of in the plains area. Like if you went to like further up north Minnesota, I think up in that area there's probably quite a bit of logging that happens. But down here in southern Minnesota, no, we really don't have that much logging around here. No, negative. All right, I'm getting faster.
Is there going to be an episode on the sleeper build?
Yes, that just went up like a week ago, I think. Yeah. So
just happened.
Check that out. It's probably in the video right below me.
Or in the corner somewhere.
Yeah, over there. Click somewhere. Yeah, it's on the channel. Check it out. Yep.
All right. What's the hardest part to learn when it comes to polishing aluminum?
Oh, what's the hardest part on polishing? I think one of the hardest things to learn is sanding. When to sand, and then what grit to start with, because I've made so many mistakes with sanding where I actually made more work for myself because I started too aggressive. I looked at something and I said, well, I got to get all the pits out of that. So I went with like 80 grit or, 180 or something like that was just way too aggressive, and then I ended up creating a whole bunch of pigtails and swirl marks in the sanding. So I think knowing what you can like sand at 220 or 320 or 400 or something like that, and then just go directly into your cut. I think that's probably the trickiest thing, and I have not mastered that. I tell people all the time, I'm a student of pinstriping. I'm a student of polishing. I'm not a master of either one of those things. There's things that you can learn with your polishing, like what pattern and what angles to hold and what pressure and all those things. There's a whole bunch of skills, and you can learn a lot of those things from watching YouTube videos. And so I really encourage people to go do that, especially Evan Steger on Evan's Detailing and Polishing. I've learned a whole bunch from him, but he's not the only one out there. You can learn from other people as well, but I've learned the most from him. Yep. And I think to answer the question, yes, it's probably sanding and knowing what to sand and where to start with polishing. So, yep. Okay.
All right. How often do you use your CB? How important is it in your job?
I use my CB every single day. Yeah, Citizens Band radio is super important. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. Just made a whole bunch of noise on you. Sorry. I use my Channel 19 CB all the time, and most of the places that we deliver or pick up loads at, with an end dump anyway, they have a dedicated channel at the place. And so I need to either know what channel they're on, or a lot of times they have a sign at the entrance or by the scale. And we just switch that channel to be able to talk to the loaders or talk to other drivers where we go. I actually keep a list in my truck. It's in with all my paperwork of the places that we go and what channel that they're on. So, yeah, I use my CB constantly, every single day. And it's super important just being out there on the road. I really, really encourage people, if you're a company driver and your company will let you have a CB in your truck and you can have an antenna, and maybe they won't let you put screws or bolts through the dash and stuff like that, it's fine, but you can still have a CB in your truck. Any truck driver, any trucker, I think, needs to have a CB radio. They should be on channel 19 because you need to know about traffic and wrecks that might be up ahead. You can be warned about weather and stuff like that changes, especially up in the mountains. And then also it's fun to get traffic reports of like, hey, you got Smokey in the middle at mile marker 31, and you can be aware that there's cops out there too, which that's again old school trucker stuff, but channel 19 is where it's at. I use it all the time. It's fun to talk to other guys out there. So
yeah.
Okay.
What about the trailer? What brand is it? What's some of the stuff you haul?
My trailer?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a Mack trailer. 2016 is the one that I pull. We have 3 Macks and 1 East end dump in our company. And being a frameless end dump, we haul a lot of aggregate stuff. We haul a lot of recycling material. So it might be shredded steel, shredded aluminum, shredded rubber, ASR, which is also known as fluff, and that's basically anything that goes through a shredder that's non-ferrous, anything that a magnet won't pick up. It's a lot of dirt and foam and seat belts and tires and all that stuff. A lot of coal, especially in the wintertime. We're hauling a lot of coal. And huge variety of stuff. So I like it. A lot of agricultural kind of stuff. So.
Keeps it interesting.
Yep, a lot of variety.
All right. So this is coming from one of the videos you talked about your sleeper.
Okay.
You used that special boot between your sleeper and the truck. How did you seal it up well?
Oh, okay. The answer is it doesn't seal up very well.
Every time you pressure wash, it goes inside.
I get water. It's an old truck, so it doesn't leak horribly, but I try and kind of avoid that area with the pressure washer. And when I get rain, I do get a little bit of water inside the truck. To me, that's part of having an old truck. I sealed it up as best I could. I used a little bit of silicone in some places, but if you watch the sleeper video, you'll see that the boot that came with the sleeper that was in the junkyard when we found it, the boot happens to be close. It's not exact, but it's very close to the size of the window that's in the back of the day cab. Okay, so they were similar enough that I popped the glass out, and then the boot went up on the inside, and I just used a whole bunch of stainless screws all the way around. And then in the wintertime, I put a little bit of insulation around the outside of the boot, and it's kind of like it's a snowmobile cover, but it's like a really heavy canvas. It's black, and I put a ratchet strap around it, and that keeps a lot of cold air, keeps a lot of water, rain, things like that out. So it's not perfect, but it's what I use, and I am dedicated to keeping it a crawl through. I'm not going to open that thing up. Some people have asked me before, hey, you're going to make that thing a big hole, you can open it up and make it part of part of the cab of the truck. No, I want to be able to put that thing back to a day cab if I want to, and I think having a crawl through is old school cool. So I'm going to keep it that way.
Yep.
Okay, long answer. Sorry.
All right, so the bombers that you paint on the door.
Okay, the bombs.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the guy's asking, what do they signify? Long trips, oil changes?
Oh, yeah. No, I've said it a few times, but I paint a new bomb on the door every time I sleep in the truck and safely make it back home again safely. So similar to the way that World War II bombers used to mark a successful mission and maybe, a bombing raid or something like that. For me, it's going away from home, staying in the truck, might be 1 or 2 nights, and then coming back, and I mark that down as a successful mission on the door. So that's what that is.
Yep. Yeah. All right. What is the wheelbase on your truck?
Oh, it used to be 220 inches before we stretched it about a month ago. The wheelbase is now 270, and I love it. I'm so glad that Brian was cool about doing that.
Oh, yeah.
To me, 270 is perfect. I'm not part of the 300-inch club. That's fine. Those guys are cool. But for the type of work that we do, 270 is about the longest I would want to go, especially with a long hood turning radius that we have. 270. Yep. All right, next question.
Hard to tell from the angle. Is the clutch hard to reach? Does the cage get in the way? This one's from those racing trucks that you did the interview for.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yep. The race truck video. Yep. It is kind of hard to tell. I don't remember the clutch being too hard to reach when I was sitting in there. I mean, there was a bar that was kind of down by like your calf area or something like that. One of the down bars, but no, I didn't think it was too difficult to reach. When I was sitting in there, I was actually quite comfortable inside those trucks. I thought that was pretty awesome. So yeah, check out that episode. That was a cool episode with those racing trucks. Yep.
Yeah. So another question from the racing trucks.
Okay.
What engines do they run?
I think almost every one of those trucks had Detroits. Yep. So, yep. Go check out that episode. We show the engines in those things, and we do a little bit of walking around. We interview some drivers and we interview, actually, we're inside a race shop where they build those trucks, but I think every single one of them had Detroits in them. So, yeah. Okay.
All right. Next one. What's the gear ratio in my car, Rosie?
Oh, yeah. What's your gear ratio?
373.
373?
With a posi.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yep.
We actually plan to get Rosie out here in the spring. I mean, it's January right now, so we just got a whole bunch of snow, and it's in storage. But when springtime comes around, we plan to get that car out, and we're going to do some more tuning on it. We've got the Holley fuel system on that thing, so we're going to hook up the laptop. And what are some of our plans for coming up this summer with the car? You can answer this better than I can.
Yeah, it's basically just kind of trying to get the car dialed in more. Once we do that, I built it for drag racing. Is the whole idea behind it. So I want to get bigger tires in the back so I can actually hook up finally.
Yep.
And then we actually need to get it down the track finally.
Yeah, that's true. That thing hasn't been down an 1/8 mile or a 1/4 mile track yet.
No.
So
it's in the process, though. We need to make that happen.
Yep.
But then once we do that, get everything set up where we want it to be. We want to get on like Hot Rod Power Tour.
Yeah.
We want to do Rocky Mountain Race Week.
Yep.
We want to do Drag Week. All kinds of stuff. We want to go out there and show off the car.
Yeah. Yep. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
'Cause that's the whole point of us building that car as a father-son project.
Yep.
We want to go out and enjoy it together.
Yeah.
Roadkill style, because we absolutely love Freiburger, Finnegan, Roadkill. Yeah. That whole thing is totally what we're into. So we said, let's do our own. And you've always liked sleepers, so you wanted a 4-door car,
right,
with big power, LS swapped. So we started on that project way before we had the channel, and so expect to see more of that coming up. You know, this spring, this summer, we'll be doing more content that has to do with Rosie, the Cutlass.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Next.
Talking about your truck, was that originally a day cab?
Yes, it was. Yeah. Well, okay. Originally, no. Originally, way before Brian owned that truck, it had a studio sleeper on it. So the Aero style, tall sleeper. And then before Brian bought it, somebody had turned it into a day cab and shortened the frame, and then we got it. So originally, studio sleeper. We've had a day cab. I drove a day cab for 4 years, and then we added the bed sleeper on the back, and then stretched it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. How are some of these guys getting away with their company info on the frames?
Oh, around here, I don't think that's a problem at all.
Yeah, I don't think that's against the law.
Yeah, in Minnesota, I have not seen where you have to have your company name any particular place. It doesn't have to be the doors. It doesn't have to be the steps or the toolboxes, things like that. In Minnesota, anyway, it says that your DOT number needs to be a minimum of, I think it's 2 inches tall, and they have dimensions for things like that. It has to be a contrasting color. But as far as being on the frame, around here, that's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have to readjust your jakes?
Oh, yes, they're something that should be adjusted. Yep. It's pretty simple to do. In fact, in one of the videos, I do that on truck number 8. That's our 1984 Kenworth W900B. That's the B model short hood that has a big cam 400 Cummins in it. It's an 855, and I show in that video how I'm adjusting the jakes with the engine running.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's on there. I also did a video on the N14. I was adjusting the valves on that, and I believe I adjusted the jakes on that with the engine not running. It's just like using the feeler gauges. So, yeah, it is something they will go out of adjustment, and you don't want to wreck anything. So it's pretty simple to do. It's not too tough. Yep.
Yeah. How many tons do you haul?
Oh, good question. Before I did the frame stretch on that truck, I was hauling 25 tons, depending on how much fuel I had on board. As of right now, after the frame stretch, we added a little bit more weight to the truck. So right now, my maximum is 24 tons. And sometimes I can go up, like 24 and a quarter, something like that. If I'm full tanks and it's wintertime, so I carry a little bit more stuff with me around, I got 5 gallons of antifreeze with me. I have a 5-gallon bucket of salt for salting down the trailer or something like that. I just carry more stuff around. I might haul like 23.5 tons, something like that. So, yep. And there's always ice and slush stuck to the truck in the wintertime too. So that doesn't help anything either. But
right.
Yeah. So short answer is 24 tons. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And we can only go up to 80,000 pounds with our trucks. Somebody else asked me one time about the bridge weights or axle, weights and things like that, because on our end dumps, both axles are all the way to the back of the trailer. We don't have a spread axle.
Yep.
And bridging laws are different from state to state, sometimes even country to country. I know you guys in, say like Great Britain or in Australia, you guys have bridge laws that are very different than ours are. But right here in the Midwest of America, we are legal the way that we do it. And so I need to keep a little bit more of the weight in the front of my trailer instead of the back, but try and get 10,000 pounds on my steers. So, yeah. All right.
Yeah. Are you planning on ever having your own TV show? Because you're such a character, you totally could have one.
Do I plan on it? Not really. I don't think it'll ever happen, but...
You never know.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be awesome. So, yeah, that'd be great.
That's kind of what this is.
Well, yeah, I mean, we just got ourselves a GoPro, and we're a couple of morons that just love to have fun. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Come with us. But, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's true. We talked about doing, like, some spoof videos, too, like the rig and stuff like that, because we really enjoy roadkill. We really enjoy... like Top Gear, stuff like that. That's really fun. And so it'd be fun to do a spoof on the Stig, but we call it the rig. So it's a little bit of trucking, a little bit of racing, a little bit of crossover from different TV shows that we enjoy. So, yeah, we're just trying to make content that we like watching on YouTube, or, you know, stuff like that. And,
have fun.
Yeah, Motor Trend.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So, yep. Okay, go.
All right. Do you polish the inside wheel on the duals?
Nope. Some guys do. Yeah. It's a work truck, and I'm in a lot of rock, gravel, mud, stuff like that. It's a lot of work to keep my truck polished up. And so to polish my inside duals, no thanks. Yeah. Truck show guys, yeah, I would do it. If I was only on pavement all the time, maybe. If I was never driving my truck in alkaline mud like I do, if I was never in snow and ice and brine and stuff like that, yeah, I might think about that kind of stuff. But no, not with the truck that I have.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. All right. What size of the shop area, like inside, that we're working in?
Oh, dimensions of the shop itself?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I would have to ask Brian what the dimensions of the shop are. I don't know. We can fit 3 trucks and trailers in the main shop, and then we can fit 1 in the wash bay, and then we also have room behind the trucks and trailers parked in there. And so I don't know. I would have to ask Brian what the dimensions of the shop are. I don't know.
Plenty big enough.
Yeah. Super big and awesome.
Yeah. Is the shop that we work in a pole barn, like shed style?
Yeah. Yep. It's pole style. Yes, it is. Yep. Yep. I believe is it a Morton? Menard? Wick. I don't even remember the brand.
I don't remember. It works great.
I'll ask Brian. I'll try and get Brian on camera. I actually am planning on doing an interview with him and with Brandon and with Lawrence and some of the other guys in my small company. There's only 5 of us, and so it'd be fun to get those guys on camera too. And Brian can answer those questions better than I could. Yep.
All right. I get the stretch, but why a binder rear end?
Oh.
If you're gonna do it, why not do low air leaf?
Oh, sure. Okay. I'll give you 2 answers for that. Number 1, Peterbilt low air leaf is expensive. And I don't care about having the Peterbilt brand name. Neither does Brian. Reason number 2, International is plentiful and inexpensive. Number 3, they ride amazing. I saw somebody make a comment one time, I don't know if it was Instagram or where it was, but they're like, why would you get rid of an 8-bag system and put a 4-bag on? The 8-bags ride so much better. Not true. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but the 4-bag system of the International Harvester that we put on rides so much better than the old 8-bag. I'm not joking. It's night and day difference. It's not only the length of the frame and the wheelbase that gives it the ride, it's also the 8-bag system. And when pulling end dumps, if we can, we have to dump the suspension on the truck in order to lower our center of gravity. So when we're getting ready to raise that trailer up in the air, we dump the suspension out of the airbags on the trailer, but we also dump the air suspension on the truck. Now, not everybody does that, but the whole idea is to get the entire truck as low to the ground as we possibly can and sturdy and secure side to side. And when I drop the suspension on the truck, I still need to be able to pull ahead away from the pile that I just dumped out of the back of the trailer, and I can still get traction with all the air dumped out of a 4-bag system. That was not true on the original Kenworth 8-bag system. With all the air let out of those airbags, there's nothing pressing down on my wheels, and so it's way easier to get stuck on an 8-bag system when you have your air completely lowered out of the bags. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, next.
All right. I was under the impression whenever you cut a frame, you should cut it at 45-degree angle. Is that true? Because this guy said that you cut straight through it, which...
We did, yep. We went vertical, yep. There's a million different ways to skin a cat. And I knew that making a video like that and showing how we do it, there's going to be a lot of opinions. There's going to be a lot of people saying, I would do this and I would do that and you should never do this. And yeah, there's a lot of people that say, well, you can have a longer weld if you go at an angle of a 40, what did you say, 45? Yeah. So yeah, there's different ways to do it. We gusseted it from the back side, we bolted it, and we welded it. And so it's actually the strongest part of the whole frame now, is right there where we did the splice. And so, yeah, opinions abound. I knew that was going to happen, but no, there's no such thing as you should or you have to. I know in some other countries they probably have to get it inspected and certified and put a badge on the frame and all that stuff. It's not true here, and I'm quite confident that we did it well. That's how it's done around here. So
yeah. How much does it cost to do a frame stretch?
I have no idea. I'm not involved in that part of our company. Brian is the one that handles all of the finances from start to finish. We did the work ourselves. that would be a great question to ask Brian. He could answer that, but yeah, he's the one that purchased the cutoff frame from, I think he got it from Vanderhags, if I remember right. But again, he could answer all those questions better than I could. So I don't know how much it costs, especially because we did the work ourselves. It'd be much different if you took it to a shop and had them do it for you. So, yep.
Yeah.
The answer is, I don't know.
All right, this guy says, Europe calling here. First noticed.
Okay.
4 bags per axle is considered better any day here.
Oh, okay.
But
I agree. Thank you, Europe.
But what surprises me most is blocking the 5th wheel swing.
Okay.
What? Why? Where would there be a crazy amount of tension going at awkward angles, basically, is kind of what he's saying.
Okay.
So
let me try and explain that as best I possibly can. And this is a situation where it might make sense to like actually make a video and show people this.
Yeah.
But on a typical truck, the 5th wheel plate is held up by 2 risers, and the 5th wheel needs to be able to tip and move. When you back under a trailer, the 5th wheel plate all of a sudden it goes level, and that is, as you're going over bumps, your trailer needs to be able to articulate and go up and down over bumps. And that's kind of where that flexibility is in the truck. On a frameless end up, let me make sure and pronunciate that, frameless, our 5th wheel plate on the trailer actually has that flexing action on it. That's where the pivot point is at, is on the trailer. Therefore, we need to block the 5th wheel plate of the truck solid so that it's completely flat and level with the frame of the truck, because it's the trailer that does the articulating. Okay, so we're not talking about the pin that swivels as you go around corners. It's totally different. We're talking about going over bumps top to bottom. So his question is, why would you block the 5th plate of the truck? I tried to explain that. It's because the 5th wheel plate of our trailers on a frameless end up is what does the pivoting. Okay, so hopefully I explained that. I can try and make a video and show you in real life. But as you see our trailers going up in the air, the draft arms go down, and it's the plate of the trailer that's making the flexibility there. So it has nothing to do with tension or anything like that. We still have a pivot point there. Yep. It's just on the trailer.
Yeah. Go. This is talking about your Peterbilt Cabover.
Okay. Yep.
This guy's wondering, when you're working on it, does the whole cab and like sleeper and everything else tip forward?
Yeah.
It does.
It does. Yep. The hinge is right in the front near the radiator, or like by the headlights, and yeah, the entire thing goes up in the air. So yeah. If you Google Cabover tip or Cabover tilt, do that. Google search Cabover tilt. I'll try and maybe put some photos in the video that we're doing right here. So maybe down here I'll show you a picture of my cab tilted. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a jack, and you jack it up, and it hydraulically raises the cab.
Yeah.
Yep. And you want to make sure on any of those old Cabovers that you take all your stuff out, so you don't get a busted windshield with all of your things flying forward and smashing into your windshield.
Right.
That was a problem back when Cabovers were very popular in America. You didn't want to leave your toolbox and stuff like that back in your sleeper, and then it goes crashing and breaks your windshield. So
yeah. All right. Hey, Flannel, did you replace all those frame bolts? How did you get them to look so nice?
Yeah. Yep, the majority of all those frame bolts there, they are brand new. Yep.
Yeah.
New nuts, bolts, washers. A lot of the bolts are the flange style, so they're just like one-piece head. Yep, they're all new.
Yep.
Grade 8. All right, so I think that finishes the last of our questions. Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. Jacob, thank you for reading off any of these questions that you guys submitted, both on YouTube comments, which, again, I don't read. You do. Thank you. And part of the reason I'll try and give a quick explanation of that is that I don't want any negative comments that might come in to mess with the creativity of what we're trying to do on this channel. Yeah. And I think that helps to try and filter some of that stuff out. So 99% of you guys are commenting awesome things that are supportive and helpful, and we want to try and make a channel that you enjoy. We genuinely do. So I don't want anybody to feel ignored, but at the same time, if I spent all of my time responding to questions, answering questions, and things like that, I would lose my mind. I just can't do that, and just trying to stay focused on being creative, and it's just a lot of things going on. So this guy here went through, pulled all your questions out, and there you have it. So anyway, cool. Thanks for coming along today. I know this was a big, long episode, and again, with the time where we tried to keep things as fast as we could, but we enjoy interacting with each one of you. If you want to directly message me back and forth, I can be found easiest at Instagram. It's at Flannel_Philip, and this guy right here is
at Eldest Arrow.
Yeah, and you can follow stuff for Rosie, motorcycle builds, some of the other kind of stuff that you have going. But anyway, thank you so much for supporting the channel. We are floored that we made it to 5,000. We have big plans to just keep going and make it an even bigger and better channel if we can, if we're able. And so look for changes coming up. We're going to be doing a lot more truck show content coming up, a lot more pinstriping. Man, what else do we have planned? We got Rosie, we're going to be getting that out in the springtime. We're doing a motorcycle build right now. We're doing the golf cart build right now. Yeah, hopefully the Cabover project, we get going on that again soon, but we'll see. Truck number 8 is getting some engine work done right now, and there's always stuff going on in the shop. Mr. Bulow Sr., we're doing an LS swap in his 1965 Chevy pickup. And so, yeah, all kinds of cool stuff. Thank you for coming along today. We appreciate every one of you. Peace and grease. Should we just go for it?
No, I'm hesitating.
I don't care. You can make it a separate